Coming into a new school district my sophomore year was very intimidating, but SHS Theater Department offered me a place I could feel comfortable and be myself. Here I was given opportunities and experiences that weren't available to me anywhere else. During my 2.5 years here, I worked with directors and coaches like Mrs. Cardell, Mr. Untied, and Mrs. Koenig, who not only encouraged me but also challenged me to push myself to achieve bigger goals. One of my fondest memories in the department was during my junior year when we did the production Oklahoma. Mrs. Cardell was always willing to answer my questions and help me break down my character if I was having trouble with a particular scene or moment. Her eagerness to help me learn inspired me to push myself and try new things in theater that I would have not done before. Now, I'm going to pass down to McKenna Richter, the Treasurer's Notebook. Inside this notebook, you will find the notes and memories from past Thespian treasurers. Along with the notebook, you will find a gift basket with assorted candies and a Starbucks gift card. I encourage you to look in this notebook and look to the past for inspiration, and then look to the future to see how you personally can do your part to help the theater department have a stronger community and be a more welcoming place for all students.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Reardon, your Thespian secretary. Theater has always been a very important part of my life and my high school career. If I told my middle school self that, I would think I was crazy. No, entering high school, I didn't have that sudden urge of wanting to be in the spotlight and sing and act on stage. I was actually quite scared of that idea. When you first meet me, I can tend to be a tad bit quiet, shy, and just uncomfortable of my surroundings, but making that spontaneous decision of trying theater has really changed that. In our department, we are one big happy family. You arrive and you're taken care of by our upperclassmen. They give you all their knowledge because they want you to be successful. Each year you learn more and more and then start to take care of the underclassmen and pass on your knowledge. And then they will do the same, and then the cycle just repeats, creating generations of thespians connected through this common knowledge. My time here as a thespian, I have taken up multiple roles, but if you would ask me which one was my favorite, I would have to say set painting. I have been on the crew for all 4 years and have taken up the position of set painting head for these last 2. I have had the experience of working with 2 different directors, which has been quite interesting. My most favorite experience was this year for Hunchback, where I had the privilege of designing and creating the stained glass window with my crew. It was certainly something that I haven't done before, but the journey was fantastic, and to see it completed was the most satisfying thing ever. Now to pass on my knowledge, next year's Thespian secretary is Allison Nolan. My advice for you is to just embrace every moment like it's your last, because crazy things do happen and it can change that. And what I have here for your gift is that it's really cute. I made it myself. This really cute bag, and I have a lot of different coloring books and markers to de-stress, and also there is a notebook in the bag where each Thespian secretary has filled out a page stating the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, and then all the crazy and fun events that have happened throughout the entire year. And then that one is then passed on to the next secretary. Allison Nolan, I wish you luck. Have fun.
I remember walking into the doors of Spencer High School with nothing but anxiety and hopelessness on my mind. I was an extremely anxious child. I hated the thought of going to high school because it meant new people and new experiences, and little 14-year-old Serenity hated new things. However, with that in mind, she was still a bright little ball of ambition. Freshman year was a difficult time for me. Not only was I shy, but I wanted to do things with all my heart. But my fear stopped me. I wasn't an outgoing child. That's when my friends wanted me to change, to grow into a more positive and confident person. And they finally got what they wanted my sophomore year. Specifically, Caleb and Vanessa pushed me to try out for the fall musical Fiddler on the Roof. Auditioning was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life. I nearly passed out on stage at callbacks after I had to sing alone. However, looking back on it now, I'm so incredibly happy that I did audition. But before that night, I went to drama orientation. I sat in the auditorium seats as the theater kids put on a skit on stage about the life of a theater goer. I think it was called Unteatland and was based on the board game Candyland. After the hilarious skit that I will remember forever, the Thespian Council came forward to talk to all the newcomers. There was one person who stood out from the rest. Her name was Claire Christensen, and she was the president of the Thespian troupe. She was everything I wanted to be: pretty, smart, confident, a good leader, and most importantly, kind. She gave us all a speech about her love for theater, and I realized that night that everything I had planned for myself was going to change. I wanted with all my heart to be like her, to be part of the theater world. I worked hard my sophomore year. I sat with Mr. Unti and got close to him. I showed up to second instruction, and soon I was the second instruction co-head of the spring play. I worked alongside the Thespian Council and learned what it was like to be a leader and to show the newcomers how to enjoy theater. Most importantly, I gained friends and family like Claire. I became friends with her, and she taught me how to do so many things. After I graduated, I realized how different of a person I was after getting to know these people. Junior year rolls around fast. I become assistant director for all 3 activities that year and learn about the tech world and what it's like not performing on stage, but still being part of a show. However, a lot of things changed. Directly after Oklahoma closed, Mr. Unti announced that he was retiring. I'll admit it was heartbreaking. Mr. Unti was the man who taught me to love theater. He taught me to use my strengths and taught me how to be happy with whatever life throws at me. So you could imagine that my theater life was suddenly crashing down around me. I hate change. It's always been a huge problem for me. However, this proved to be a necessary event for me. My senior year, I had to learn to function without Mr. Unteat, and through that, I made many more connections. I grew close to Mrs. Cardell, Mr. Halverson, and Mrs. Koenig. As I look back on the parts of my senior year that were challenging, I'm glad I was able to get through them with these amazing mentors. Spencer's drama department didn't fall apart. We grew. These 4 mentors have taught me more in these 2.5 short years than anyone in my entire life. Thank you, Mr. Unteat, for providing me with the confidence I could never find myself. Thank you, Mrs. Cardell, who taught me that change is okay. Thank you, Mr. Halverson, for instilling another needed voice into our theater program. And thank you, Mrs. Koenig, for sharing your emotions and dreams with your students. This theater program is going to continue to grow into such an amazing opportunity for every student that comes across it. My senior class may be moving on, a bit early, I might add, but I know we are leaving such an amazing and promising group behind us. To Molly, congratulations. We joined theater the same year. However, from the beginning of your theater career, I could see a drive and a passion in you like very few in your class. I'll be honest, next year is probably going to be more difficult than mine. With the events dealing with COVID-19, there are going to be quite a few changes. However, I know your group can not only get through this, but can make the best of it. Being part of the officers for your troupe is an honor. You'll lead all those who look up to you, and I know you'll do a fantastic job. I am handing down the Vice President's 14-pound weight. It symbolizes the weight you hold in your theater troupe and the weight of the responsibilities you are taking on. Along with this, you are also receiving the Vice President's notebook, which is incredibly new, might I add. Levi was the first to give it to me last year. In this book, you will write every happy, sad, or memorable moment in your theater life this next year. I didn't do a great job at this, but I'm trusting you can fix all my bad mistakes. Now go on, be the main character of your own play, and bring glory to our amazing theater program. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to start by thanking everyone for an incredible year. Thank you to my fellow officers who were hardworking and open-minded for the new opportunities and events we started this year. I can always count on each and every one of them. Thank you to my fellow Thespians who elected me president. It's been an honor. Thank you to Mrs. Cardell for always exploring our new ideas this year and working tirelessly to create such a vibrant and welcoming environment in this drama department. Thank you to Mrs. Koenig, Mrs. Pierce, Mr. Halverson, and Mr. Schwark for all of your help and guidance this year. Lastly, thank you to all of the parents and volunteers that help make our performances possible. We are incredibly lucky to have people that care so much about the fine arts in our school and community. What a year it has been. I remember making a similar speech last year to accept my position as Thespian president. I knew that it would be a fast-moving whirlwind of a year, but I did not know it would be to the extent that it was. Starting from the minute school got out, the officers and directors began to work to make everything a smooth transition. From revamping the audition process, to organizing new leadership crew positions, to involving the department further in the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards, so much was accomplished in the first couple of months. We reached our goal of 100 people involved in the cast and crew of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. We had our first build week where we even put together an elaborate float for the homecoming parade. We submitted portfolios and other submissions to the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards, and after judging and interviews, received more awards and recognition than ever. We even took large steps to get involved in the community by working with several local businesses. We hosted the Hunchback movie event and the Halloween Feast of Fools night. These are just a few of the many new projects that we took on and succeeded with. I am so proud of everyone. Most impressive to me were the newly developed crew leadership positions. Speaking from my experience, with the help of many wonderful volunteers and a dedicated crew, the costume head experience taught me more than it ever has. I was better able to organize a crew, and we were able to use various sources to create many of the costumes for Hunchback. Every other crew had similar student leadership experiences, allowing members of the drama department to learn more about theater through hands-on work. This new concept of student leadership made for an incredible show, and I believe it will be a valuable concept to carry on in the years to come. Looking at our speech season, we did very well by carrying on tradition while trying new material. As an assistant director and participant in multiple categories, I was so proud of all of the work that was done. The dedication was there, and that was represented in the results. Now to talk about the spring play. I can't ignore the disappointment, but I am not going to ramble on about everything we lost. I'm going to look at the experience we gained. Cast and crew members of Clue jumped into a new style of show with energy and passion from the very start. The same elements of student leadership continued from the fall musical to the spring play. Working as costume crew head had new challenges and requirements, and I gained valuable learning experience from the time I did have. Even when we left school, we did not give up hope. I remember our first virtual conversation about what to do going forward, and everyone was so full of positivity. We continued to rehearse virtually for weeks and made plans for crew work with hope of a later performance. Although we will not ultimately have a chance to perform this show together, those weeks of virtual rehearsal gave me a reason to get up and do something. During those first weeks of quarantine, I had to learn how to keep myself busy and productive, but it was very hard. Knowing that I would see familiar faces on my computer several nights a week provided some much-needed sanity. I know we were all sad to see the show canceled, but those extra weeks of rehearsal provided hope in times when that is in short supply. It just goes to show how supportive our drama family truly is at Spencer High School. It is no secret that Spencer High School's speech and drama department has affected me in a big way. My decision to pursue musical theater was greatly influenced by the amazing opportunities that are provided in this department. Students at Spencer High School are extremely lucky. I can go confidently into my future because of the skills I have developed here. Additionally, I was able to find my true voice with the support of this department. I did not start high school with very many friends or social connections, but this department changed that for me. I know that I have developed friendships that will last a lifetime. I truly believe in quality over quantity, and the people in this department are of quality. We are all family, and we will always be there for each other. Carly, as the new Thespian president, you have weight on your shoulders as a role model for the underclassmen. My first piece of advice is to always be willing to put in the extra work. Most of the fun I had in the past year came from the extra ideas and events that we put together. Coming up with your own ideas to make a mark on the department is extremely satisfactory. And the parents and adults in the community love to see motivated young thespians at work. Lastly, there will be ups and downs, but everything is worth it. Soak up every moment of your senior year. If the last few months have taught me anything, it's that you are never guaranteed more time. Anything can be taken away from you in an instant, so make the most of every moment. Some words of advice to everyone. First, continue to push yourself with new goals and dream big. The amount we have achieved in this transition year is inspiring to me, and I hope it is to you too. Never be afraid to put forth your ideas. Everything has to start as an idea, but it can never become a reality unless you share it. Second, lean on your directors and teachers. They were all in your shoes once and are willing to help. Third, support one another. High school can be really hard, but support from your friends and classmates can help you greatly during hard times. You will find that others are willing to listen as long as you are willing to share. This goes both ways. Others will go through hard times, and sometimes the best thing you can be is a friend with a listening ear. Lastly, enjoy every minute of it. I do not regret any of my time spent working on sets on Saturday mornings, getting up at 4 a.m. for speech, going on long bus rides, eating dinner at 11:30 p.m., or starting my homework at midnight. Every laugh between runs of the show or backstage moment is what makes these days in high school memorable. Years in the future, I am not going to remember old lines or specific costume pieces, but I will remember everyone falling on the floor laughing nearly every rehearsal and genuinely caring about one another. Thank you for my time as Thespian president, but more importantly, thank you for giving me a second family and memories I will never forget.